God, source of all blessing, fulfill every worthy wish of their hearts. Open their eyes to the beauty and the mystery of the love they hold for each other every day as today. May their life together embrace and nurture the promise of this moment, so that all who know them will call them truly blessed. In happiness and joy, we thank God for the blessing of love which we celebrate today, formally consecrating the love of Rachel and Daniel for each other. May they always rejoice in their love, graced by delight through their mutual affection. Do you, Daniel, take Rachel to be your wife, promising to cherish and protect her, whether in good fortune or in adversity, and to seek together with her a life hallowed by God?
I do.
Do you, Rachel, take Daniel to be your husband, promising to cherish and protect him, whether in good fortune or in adversity, and to seek together with him a life hallowed by God?
I do.
Hare,
Hare,
At,
At,
Mikudeshet,
Mekudeshet,
Li,
Li,
Bitabat,
Itabat,
Zo,
Zo,
Lefi,
Lefi,
Misorot,
Mesorot,
Yisrael.
Yisrael.
You are sanctified to me
You are sanctified to me
with this ring,
with this ring,
according to the traditions of Israel.
according to the traditions of Israel.
Li,
Li,
Bitabat,
Bitabat,
Zo,
Zo,
Lefi,
Lefi,
Misorot,
Misorot,
Yisrael.
Israel.
You are sanctified to me
You are sanctified to me
with this ring,
with this ring,
according to the traditions of Israel.
according to the traditions of Israel.
Ani,
Ani,
Lidodi,
Lidodi,
Vidodi,
Vidodi,
Li.
Li,
I am my beloved's,
I am my
my
beloved,
beloved,
and my beloved is mine.
and my beloved is mine. I promise to love you no matter how many cats we adopt. I promise to love you before your morning coffee, and we will have hard times, and I will love you in those moments too. I will love you for always and forever.
I can't wait to see you as a father to our children one day, because I know you'll be like a superhero to them, just like you are to me. Thank you for being my best friend, for always supporting me, and especially for always making me laugh, even when I don't want to. I love you forever, in time. Love you.
Can I kiss her?
Of course. That's not the official kiss. By the power vested in me, I therefore declare that you, Daniel, and you, Rachel, are husband and wife in accordance with the laws of the state of Florida and according to the traditions of the Jewish people. No. Mazel tov. Okay, you can kiss her now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege to present Mr. and Mrs. Daniel and Rachel Rule.
Rachel, on the day you were born, you were so adorable that we ended up naming you. Your Hebrew name was Shana, which means beautiful, Shana Misha. So you've gone from being adorable to beautiful today. So maybe I'm just the proud dad, but does everybody think she looks pretty beautiful today? Rachel wasn't just a pretty, beautiful little baby. She was also very smart. And before she could even speak legibly, we used to play a game. It was kind of like the old concentration on TV where you had to match these little cubes and you turn them back over and memorize them. And it's called Match the Mitzvah. And Rachel's mind was actually better than all of ours that were a lot older than her. And she could remember where the two little things that we turned over were, and she would match them up all the time. So she's always been smart, inquisitive. She was always very proud when she came up with a new big word and she'd use it in a sentence and say, "Dad, was that the right way to use that word?" And I would say yes, and she would be so proud of herself. So she has a great mind to go along with a beautiful face. What else? So she loves learning. She has a smile that can kill, as you probably know. And one thing about Rachel that people don't know is pound for pound, she's probably the strongest person in the room. Oh yeah, she's got guns. So she was always high on a roll growing up. Didn't give us any problems. People used to always say, you better keep an eye on your girls, but they never gave us any problems, I should say. She's always had a very determined spirit and a very easy laugh and a contagious smile. So Danita and I have loved watching her and her siblings grow up and how close her and Jessica always were. And they were best friends, not because they had to be, but because they wanted to be. Her brothers always loved her as she was the baby of the family, and she'll always be the baby. Now I think Daniel, he kind of became, I thought, the go-to guy for me when we were in Greece, and we were walking up about 220 steps to get from the ocean up to our beautiful house overlooking the caldera, and an old man fell down on a platform above us, and the first one to his rescue was Daniel. So I'm very proud of him, and that showed me he had a heart. And also I know that he became a lover of cats like Rachel, so Daniel's always the first one to lend a hand or help pick somebody up when they're falling down. So I'll end this with, I saw a quote this morning in something I was reading, and it basically says, "You are what you share." So I'm hoping you guys share a long, beautiful life together, and I'm so proud to be the dad of both of you guys.
Daniel were 6 years apart. So I don't know how many of you have siblings, but I have I have friends who are a year away or 2 years away from their sibling, and they don't even talk. So how did I end up here? Well, the day I met Daniel, I was about a minute old, give or take 30 seconds, and my parents brought me home from the hospital, and at first glance, I thought to myself, is this really the guy who's about to be my best friend? 6 years, no, wait, hang on. 6 years older than me. By the time I'm in high school, he's probably already graduated with a job. By the time he's married, I don't even have a girlfriend, I'm telling you, huge differences, right? So, how did I become his best friend? Well, Daniel understood something that even still today I don't, all right? And there's one story that I go back to every time when it comes to Daniel. I was 12 years old and Daniel was 18, all right? He brought all of his friends home from high school to have a poker night. And I was upstairs in my room and I heard all of them coming through the door, and as a little brother, I wanted to be down there. I wanted my in, so I waited for Daniel to say, "Hey, where's Reese?" Didn't happen. So they're about halfway through the hands, and I'm upstairs crying my eyes out, like, I want to be next to my brother. I'm sharing my soul here, so no one laugh. What did I just say? So I'm about to pass out, and all of a sudden I do hear it. Daniel stands up and he tells all of his friends, and he goes, "Where's my brother? We're halfway through the game, and Reese isn't here. I want him here." So I jump out of my bed, wipe my tears, and I'm ready to run downstairs until my dad walks in. And he goes, Reese is 12 years old. I'm gonna need you to keep it down. He needs to sleep. He has school in the morning. Daniel looked my father dead in the eye and said, no, I want my brother here next to me. So that's when the tears really started coming. So my father comes upstairs, he hands me a $5 bill and says, pull yourself together, they want you down there. And I, put on my best clothes, and show of hands. How many of you guys at the age of 18 want a 12-year-old, not even a 12-year-old kid, a 12-year-old Reese, all right? An obnoxious, annoying, you've all met me, all right? Running around, embarrassing you, next to you. Nobody, when I was 18, I didn't want a 12-year-old Reese around me, but Daniel understood something that still today I don't, and that's how strong a bond he could have had with his brother. So I ran downstairs, I ended up winning the game, taking everyone's money, and then at the end of the night, gave my brother a hug and I went to bed. And every day, Daniel continuously lets me into the wolf pack. He continuously calls me, he's continuously there, and there's nothing that stands in the way. And for being 6 years difference, I still today don't know how he accomplishes that. So, I don't know if we're allowed to toast already, but if everyone could please raise their glass and toast to Daniel Rule, the closest thing this world gets to a superhero.
Oh, man.
Just to kind of tell you a little bit more about Daniel's character, even though everyone already has, while we were in Greece, coincidentally, before that, Rachel decided to become a foster mom with the Humane Society, which also says something very amazing about her. So before the trip, she had these 2 little kittens that were too young to stay at the Humane Society, so she took them home to foster them. And right before we left on the trip, they were old enough to be dropped back off and get adopted. And Rachel, of course, bawled the whole way there and wanted to keep them, but they already had 2 cats at home and 2 outdoor cats, so she knew she had to give them back. And so halfway through the trip in Greece, she couldn't drop the fact that she didn't want these little baby kittens to be split up to different families, and she was just harping on this the whole trip. And Daniel's little heart was breaking too. God bless his little soul. So the 2 of them together, he saw how upset she was, and I think he also was a little emotionally invested in these 2 little kittens. So he calls his sister up internationally from Greece, has her drive to the Humane Society, adopt the cats, take care of them until they were back from Greece, and now it's a part of their family, so now they have the 6. But it was just so sweet. Rachel was like, no, we can't, financially, we have all the other cats, this is crazy, we can't have 6 cats. Daniel was like, you're right. You know what, no, I'm calling Katie. Katie's going to the Humane Society. We're getting these babies, we're bringing these girls home. So he's the first one to sort of jump in, make Rachel happy, so sweet. So now those little babies have a great home. And side note, if you've ever watched Modern Family, Daniel's humor is a lot like Phil Dunphy. So having him along in our family for all of our vacations and whatnot is a great entertainment factor for me, so I appreciate that. And as far as Rachel's concerned, my beautiful little sissy, oh man, what can I say about Sis? I guess our whole life, growing up watching home videos, my mom would always call her my baby. So, Jessie, are you holding your baby, etc. So I think maybe growing up, I had maybe a deeper bond with her than just her sister. Maybe I kind of felt like her mom in a weird way too. And I think maybe she feels the same. You are, and actually as an adult, this is embarrassing, but sometimes I still cradle her in my arms and rock her. Not even lying, we do that from time to time. And our matching moo-moos, usually if we're at mom and dad's house. Yeah, I know, it's embarrassing. But we also used to get, not so much anymore, I think I've aged a bit, but we used to get mistaken for twins all the time as well, especially for a good segment of our teenage years, and maybe when her hair was a little darker. Everywhere we went, twins, twins, twins. And the funny thing is that we would always answer in unison, no matter how we were answering, it was the same. And so then we'd look at each other and start laughing, and then we'd like look back at the person, and they were just like, okay, are you sure you guys aren't twins? And they'd be like, twins? And we'd be like, sisters. Or twins and 2 years older, like, they were just doing it, like, evidence. But so I think we have way more than just a sister bond. I think we have a twin bond, a mother-daughter bond. We share some telepathic moments a lot. I think she has superpowers. What else? I love her. I'm so happy I've luckily had a best friend to go through my whole life with, and I always will, and I'll rock you until you're old and gray. And I wish you both a lot of love and happiness and as many cats as your heart desires. No one can judge you guys for that. You rescue those kitties. All right, congratulations to the happy couple. I love you both.
Rachel, I don't think you really read the fine print of this. You don't really understand what you did. See, the fine print, you think you signed up for Daniel, and that's great. Daniel's my best friend. I love him. He's great. I'll co-sign that. That's awesome. But you don't understand what the fine print is. The fine print are these goons. This one, this one, this one, this one, and me. Me specifically. Today's the first day that I can say that I love you, and it's not weird. And just know this, I will abuse it. I will be a very frustrating aspect of your life, and I will say I love you to make up for it 15 times. It won't matter, but I'll do it anyways. I vow, Rachel, to always get Daniel home. I cannot promise what condition. I cannot promise how many pieces, okay? And then at some point, probably, you'll have children, you'll have little ones running around, and you'll probably want some alone time. You may want to go on a date. I'll watch those kids. I'll babysit those kids. I also promise to get them back to you. I cannot promise in what condition or in how many pieces. That's literally it. I had no other vows. I thought of everything. I haven't talked about Daniel at all. Daniel's my best friend in the whole world. We bonded. We met, I think, in 3rd grade, but we really bonded when we played Pee Wee football. Daniel was the quarterback of the football team, and I was the center. So really a hand-to-butt bond was really the thing that really sealed the deal. On Wednesday, 16 years ago, my mother passed away. And when she passed away, I found out we were in 8th grade, in Mr. Zeidler's technology class. I've literally never talked about this in my life, and I'm going to talk about it for a bunch of strangers. Principal came and got me. She asked for me by name. She knocked on the door, said, I need to see Henry Philpott. Everyone went, ooh, and they laughed at me. They were laughing as I got up. They continued to laugh. Grabbed my backpack, they continued to laugh. I walked out, they continued to laugh. And then, as I turned around, as I was walking out the door, I just, at a quick glance, I looked back at Daniel. Daniel had no clue the severity of my mother's illness. We never talked about it once, ever. She knew she was sick, but she didn't know how sick. He didn't know how sick. And when I looked back, he was the only person in the class not laughing. There was an unspoken understanding that something was serious. There was an unspoken understanding that he was in pain because I was in pain. And he knew I was in pain. It was never brought up. And I've never forgot about that. I knew he was my best friend before that, but after that specific moment, it was pretty much sealed. I knew for a fact that one day I'd be up here giving a speech, embarrassing the crap out of him in front of all of you. I love Daniel to death. I now love Rachel to death. I wish them all the best in the world. I know nothing about marriage, nothing at all. I know plenty about being weird and being awkward. And I think in life, you need to keep things weird and keep things confusing. And if you want to be comfortable in life, you should make things uncomfortable as possible and force yourself into uncomfortable positions. So that's my advice to you. And I love you both. Hold each other tight tonight. It'll be fun.